How obviously a big day for special teams on Sunday. How cool is that to obviously score a touchdown and get a field goal block as well?
Well, I think it was really cool for the group of guys, and I'm really happy and proud of these young guys. And we have so many first and second year players, and these guys are battling so hard every week. And is it perfect? No. There's a lot of stuff we can clean up a lot. And but I'll tell you what, the way they battle and as hard as they're playing, everything like that, I really think that every week that these guys get better, they're coming along every week. They're buying into the system. They know the expectations that we put on them, and they've done a great job. They really have.
Can you talk a little bit about the on Clemens' block punt there? I know we were talking to Will after the game, and he was saying that he had noticed something on a previous punt about kind of a weak spot there, and it came to you, and you kind of drew something different up there. I'm assuming that probably happens more often than we all know, I guess, right?
It does. I think anytime, and I always appreciated it when I was a player. If you went up to the coach and you said, hey, here's what we're seeing, because the coaches can't see everything out there. All we see is still pictures. And so anytime that you take back and you take information, hey, here's what they're doing, we saw what they were doing. We thought we could take advantage of it, put guys in a couple different positions, and fortunately it worked out for us. But it's all the communication between the coach and player, and when you have a group of guys like that that just love to play ball and work hard and everything like that, and they you trust them enough to and it's verified by the pictures that that we're seeing, then that's everything. And you got to hand it to all those guys. They executed exactly what we drew up in the dirt, and it worked out. And we thought we could take advantage of a certain area, and it worked out for us.
What is that like on the sideline when you see it all kind of come to fruition? It's got to be a pretty.
It goes back to the players. It really does, and these guys have done such a good job, like I said, of buying into everything that we're doing. There's, I'm sure that you could draw a bunch of stuff up, and if it didn't work, then they'd look at you like you're crazy. But at the same time, you're trying to expose a problem that we see, and that's we saw it, and it worked out, and the communication was awesome, and it was cool to see, because the sidelines changed, and just to see the excitement of the guys, and that gets them believing, and I'm a big firm believer in that, and they love playing together, and it's a special group of young guys. Like I said, we've got a hell of a long way to go. We're not doing some of the things I'd like to do, but they are improving every week. They are getting better. Like I said, it's a really, really young crew, and I think that we'll progress as the season goes on.
How often do you find yourself in a situation where you're doing something like that in a game? Is that something that happens
Happens all the time. It really does. We see the still shots, and I'll ask the players, hey, what did you see here? What happened here? And you always try to take their feedback, and then you try to make the best decision here. Hey, well, let's switch this up on this one, and let's do this, and let's do this, and it happens quite often.
Better when it results in touchdown.
For sure.
What are some of the things that you aren't doing that you want to?
I think that our return game isn't where we want it to be. I think that we're not being as physical as we need to be at times. Obviously, we gave up the block punt, which is inexcusable, and that's on me as a coach. That's we'll get those things ironed out, and that's just a product of the more they're out there, and the more we teach it, the better they're going to become.
So Parks, obviously, was the one who took the scoop and score there, is a pretty energetic guy. And how do you describe him in terms of as an addition to your group there?
He's been awesome. The guy is he's a pro. He's always his energy. He's got great energy all the time in the locker room. He's got energy in the meetings. He's always communicating with the coaches, always communicating with the players. He takes the leadership role. Him and Hardy, I think, are the leaders of the special teams unit, and they do a great job at doing that. These guys, like I said, he is one of those guys that, I think should be a coach someday. I really do. I think that he'd be a heck of a coach because of the energy he provides and the stuff that he knows. It's a blessing to have as a coach. That's for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned Hardy. I mean, I find it always fascinating with the guys that become that just kind of morph into pure special teams guys. Because as you know, having played and how precious those roster spots are. And he is a cornerback on the roster that we have, but he doesn't really play cornerback. So,
right.
What is it about him that makes him good in the roles he has?
I've said this before. It's his want to, and I think that everybody that plays special teams, it's want to. And whether are you buying into that role, and can the coach, can you bring the group together enough to where you surround them with guys like him that are leaders and grab young guys by the collar and say, here's how we're supposed to get things done. And him and Parks are doing a good job. We got a lot of young linebackers and things like that, young D linemen in there and stuff like that. And if they get those guys believing, because there's only so much a coach can say in front of a room. And, if you have a good locker room and good people that'll listen and guys like Hardy that play so hard. And, he's been dominating, and Eccles is doing another great job as the other gunner as well. But Hardy specifically has beaten double team after double team, and he's making play after play, and hopefully he can stay healthy throughout the year because he obviously helps us an absolute ton.
How difficult is it for a guy like that to keep retaining roster spots every year? Like the long snapper is kind of a different animal, obviously, but on special teams, it's so transient. It's kind of rare that a guy sticks around on a roster.
Well, that's a good question. I will say this, that he is a specialist. How about we say it that way? Because there isn't, that's bad English, but there isn't probably 5 guys like him in the league, in my opinion. I think he's one of the best overall. Top 3 for sure in this league as a special teamer. I think he's playing like a Pro Bowler. He's playing at that caliber, and like I said, we've got a long, long way to go, fellas, and we've done some good things, and he's done some really, really good things. But the meat of our schedule's coming up with really good special teams units and things like that. And we've got a really good unit that we're facing this week that'll cause us some problems because they're so big and physical and stuff like that. And we got to match that intensity this week.